Here is grade 7, module 11, lesson 2. I can derive and apply the formulas for surface area of any right prism. Alright, so imagine this is like taking a box and covering it exactly with the right amount of wrapping paper. So surface area is of a three-dimensional figure is the combined area of all the faces. So what it means by faces, this is your front face, your top, and then your bottom's down here, and then you have your side, and then your back. Okay. You can find the surface area of a prism by drawing a net. So that's what this little guy is. The net of the flattened figure. So you wrap up your box, you take that wrapping paper perfectly off, you lay it on the ground, and then we use our skills from our lesson on composite figures to find the area of each piece and add them together. So, and the big thing for this is to make sure you transfer your your measurements over to the right spot. Okay, so like 8 inches, here's my 5 inches, that goes here, which means that also goes here. My 3 inches, which goes here. Okay, because this is, imagine like you folded this part down and you folded this part down. Okay, those would be the same length. That's probably my biggest error that I see with students is that they don't transfer the measurements over correctly. So just be really careful when you do that. All right, find the surface area of the triangular prism. So first, make a net of the triangular prism. Label the given dimensions of the net. So we're gonna go, let's see, we have our bottom base here. That is 8 centimeters. So we're gonna have that here. And I'm gonna try and color code this as much as I can. Note that on yours, you can use a highlighter, colored pencils, colored markers to keep your units lined up from your actual object to the net. So from the top triangle to the bottom triangle, that distance is 12. So all of these distances here will be 12. This was 12. This in the back, when it's dashed, that means it's in the background, but it's still 12. So you have your base or your bottom part, and then your 2 rectangles on the side. So those 2 rectangles on the side are like right here and right here will equate to these 2. Okay, so if you need to rewind that, look through that again. But our yellow parts down here are equivalent to these top faces on the outside of your triangle. And your base is this shape here on the bottom, like the part that is touching the floor. That bottom part is equivalent to here. And then we have our triangles, which is what's facing the front of our prism here, and then what's on the back of our prism. Those fold out to be out here. Okay, so let's do this. We'll just do this as yellow, and then these will be our yellow parts too. Okay, so we have, let's see, 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. The 2 triangles are gonna be the same amount because this is a right triangular prism, which that right, I can point that out here for you. That right part is here, so right triangular prism. And so let's do our triangles faces first. So you're gonna do 2 times because we have 1 and then 2. And then the formula for the area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height. So we have that here, 1/2. And then our base times your height. Okay, base times your height will give us an area of 24 centimeters squared, because you're doing 8 centimeters times 3 centimeters squared. And now we can do our rectangular faces. So that's what we have in the yellow. So this is our there's our triangle, and then our yellow, and then the big one is our blue. Okay, so rectangular faces. Area formula for rectangle, what is it? We have length times width, base times height, either one. And then making sure we're doing our correct units. So there's nothing written. There's nothing here or here. What is gonna be my height in this picture? My height of this base piece. I know I'm gonna have 8. But 8 times what for that rectangular face? I'm sorry, I'm doing the little ones. I'm silly. We're gonna do this part. 3 times our height, which is labeled. That's right here, so pause that. We're gonna do that question down here. But the 2 yellow faces are gonna be our 3 times our 12. Okay, so I'm doing the yellow. I skipped ahead, I went to blue for a second. 3 times 12 will give me 36. I have to multiply that by 2 because there's 1 and 2 of them. So I have an area of just the yellow for 72 centimeters. Okay, this one is 36. And this one is also 36 centimeters squared. Add those together, 72 centimeters squared. All right, now my big one, my nice big blue base here. I know that 8 is gonna be here. But what is that height? What is gonna be that distance from here to here? Pause the video if you need to. That height is gonna be the same as it was for the yellow. Gonna be times 12. And 8 times 12. Again, pause that video if you need to. Do that multiplication. I love that practice. 8 times 12 will give you 96 centimeters squared. Okay, whew. Now, lots of pieces to this. We're gonna take every single piece, my green triangles, my yellow rectangles, my blue base, and I'm gonna add them all together, just like our composite figure. Okay, so we had our wrapping paper, we wrapped it around our nice pretty triangular prism, laid it all out, and we're gonna add up our 24 from our triangular faces, our 72 from our yellow rectangular faces. Remember, there's 2 of them. That's another common mistake. Don't forget to multiply by the 2 if there's 2 of them. And then my big blue base on the bottom, 96. Pause that video. What is adding all of those up together? What is that gonna get you? Add it all up. Watch those place values. And we end up with 192 centimeters squared. Okay, 102 centimeters squared. Again, we have that squared from centimeters times centimeters. And we're not, this is just addition. Okay, so we're not going to end up with, I don't know, centimeters to the 6th power. None of that. Okay, we're just adding the area of each piece. Our triangle, 2 triangles, and 2 rectangular faces. Add those all together, and we get a total of 192 centimeters squared, put it in a box, and that is your final answer.